All right, guys, and welcome back to class. Today, to start off our lesson, I want us to think about one poetic type that we used when we were writing our poetry portfolio. And I want us to think about why we chose that poetic type in relation to what the poem or your poem is about. Why did you choose that poem? How does the way that it's written relate to what it's saying? In the meantime as well, I want you guys to check off any completed items that you've done on your planning packet checklist. Remember, your planning packet checklist is on handout 29A inside of your workbook. So let's look at our focusing and our content framing question for this lesson. Our focusing question says, what does it mean to be a storyteller? And if you've noticed, our focusing question has been the same for a few lessons. And our content framing question is, in the know stage, how do the module's texts build my knowledge of narrative writing? So, I want us to do a think, pair, share. We're going to think about this question and then share it out in discussion board. What are some ways that we can help others become better storytellers? Could you give them advice? What type of advice would you give someone to be a better storyteller? Then I want you guys to talk about this question and answer it as well in a discussion board. This is our craft question for this lesson, and we are in our Excel stage. We're going to be thinking about, how do I improve my draft through revision? So remember, as good writers, even though you write something one time, you should probably go back and look at it and make sure that it's still okay. Maybe you want to add more detail, or maybe you want to check spelling, or maybe you want to check and make sure that everything is clear for your reader. How do I improve my draft through revision? So, I want you guys, if you have a friend that is in my class or in any of the other classes, because we're all doing the same thing, have someone send you some of their poems that they've been reading. If you can't do that, then that's okay. But I want you to complete step 6 of your handout 29A, as well as complete the peer column of handout 30C. If you don't have another classmate that you could possibly email or send your poems over to, you can ask a parent or an older sibling or a relative to help you with some peer revision. So as your peer or your person who is going to be helping you give you feedback, they should be looking at handout 30C to get some instructions on what it should look like. So this is your narrative writing checklist for handout 30C. And they should be able to look on here and see if you've used any of these things in your writing. I'm also going to be giving you guys some of my own feedback as well. I also want you all to complete step 7 of handout 29A. Now think about your cover letter. I want you to return to your work from step 5 of handout 29A and begin drafting your end of module cover letter as well. Begin to draft your end of module cover letter, taking into account what feedback you've received from people who have looked at your poems, as well as your own reflections. And once again, checking off to see if you've completed any items on your checklist. To wrap up this lesson, we are going to look at our content framing question. How do the module's texts build my knowledge of narrative writing? And I want you to complete the exit ticket, saying, which of the module's texts do you plan to use in your cover letter and why? Remember, it allows you to pick 2 of the informational texts that we've been reading. For homework, I want you guys to do some revisions on your poetry portfolios. Also complete your self column of handout 30C, where you are revising and editing yourself, and practice reading aloud at home some of your poems. Be prepared to perform them in Flipgrid. I'm excited to hear them all. For your vocabulary deep dive today, we are going to have a vocabulary assessment. So we're not going to be actually doing a lesson. We're just going to take a quick test. I'll put this inside of Schoology in order for you all to take. Once again, if you have any questions, please come to office hours. See you soon. Bye.